Are we ahead of schedule or behind schedule?
I'm not sure.
On schedule.
I'm anxious enough. Tanya, can you please bring up the exhibit
Oh,
from
yeah,
Finley
the
Elrama?
large one?
Yes, large and in charge. And do you have the laser pointer or something?
I do, I have it.
Thank you.
And I can zoom in if you wanna do like a certain section at a time.
Yeah, we might have to. Okay, so this customer list exhibit, the board saw a version of this last month. Jason Stanton walked the board through some of the question mark properties, asterisk properties. This markup, we added some orange notes to dictate more so for internal use.
So after you left our board meeting, then you what, talked to Union Township, or what happened after?
Well, yeah, okay, on Union
because-
Township.
thank you.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
I
I thought
think
we
that's
agreed to
what
which
we're
homes
doing.
were to be hooked up last meeting.
Okay, so the customer list is established at this point. It's the properties circled in yellow. Tanya, maybe zoom out for
Okay,
for
sorry.
right now.
Hold on,
Control minus
thank you. Oh, too small?
small.
Is that too big?
See that diagonal arrow in the top right corner? If you click that, it might extend it to.
Oh, this
full
one,
screen.
full screen? Okay, my phone.
There we go, okay.
All
So
right.
these properties circled in yellow is the defined customer list.
Yeah.
And these three properties are gonna be listed as optional on the customer list.
That's what we talked about last month.
That's what we talked about last month.
Okay.
The only other thing we discussed last month was some for this question mark, it was a request from the property owner that should he subdivide, we provide an additional connection. The board elected not to provide, to acquiesce to his request. This double asterisk, we asked the board if we were gonna extend a lateral up into within 150 feet of this existing property to dictate they tie in.
Yeah.
The board elected not to do that. We're gonna install a Y and a
Yeah,
site
right.
T up to the easement. And then for this asterisk property, this one, and this last one here, so three of them, we asked the board if we want to provide Ys. And board elected not to. Well, in discussions with the authority manager this month, and I tend to agree, he'd like to revisit that, and that's the purpose of showing this exhibit today. We suggest that we do provide Ys for those three vacant parcels. And the idea there would be to have some control over the installation of the Ys, as opposed to someone coming in the future and having to cut into our main line and work within our easement to install Y to connect the lateral. I think in previous projects, we have installed Ys for vacant parcels. The cost is minimal. I think it's maybe on the estimate $500 a Y. So the authority manager and I would suggest these three vacant parcels be provided a Y and the lateral extended outside of the roadway. So again, they're not cutting into the roadway either.
Yeah. So in addition, it costs about $500 per lot.
Right.
Where's the Union Township building on there?
Township.
So
Okay.
Eric,
And
you-
that's the bend at Mark is up the top
Yep.
right there?
Yep,
Okay.
that's their driveway.
Where would it be? The property, as you're going down Finley Elrama Road towards Elrama, the property above the Union Township building and behind all those houses on your right-hand side, going towards Elrama,
This property.
it's approximately 9 acres. I've mentioned a couple times that a friend of mine owns that 9 acres. 2 weeks ago, we were out to dinner with him and his wife. They're proposing building 2 houses on that property, him and his son. I basically kept my mouth shut while we were out to dinner. Should I have him contact you about possibly tying into our system somewhere there? Since they are actually making plans to build those two houses, even though none of you people know anything about it yet?
Yeah, I think.
I didn't wanna get in the middle of that during dinner with, you know, cocktails and everything.
If this is something the authority's gonna be confronted with sooner than later, then I suggest we discuss it with it now,
Yeah,
if there's a way to.
What, do we have a Y there or not in that property? Or-
Well, that's.
there's a road that comes out of his property and hits Finley Elrama Road, somewhere there, but I'm not sure exactly where Rick's property's at.
So
You know where there's a road that comes down between those houses on the right-hand side, somewhere?
Close to the next house.
I'm not sure the property you're talking about.
Yeah, if you look at the
Here's the
Nike
Township
side driveway,
Municipal
it's right
Building.
across.
It's the 9 acres above it, which is behind all the houses on the right going towards Elrama.
Okay, I think we're-
There's 9 acres.
So, are we, do we agree to, right there, do we agree to a
These
Y?
two, right?
Just a
Well,
Y,
there's
I think.
three.
What are
think
those, what are
just the
those,
one?
those two little boxes?
Eric, is this the one that we just said last time, do not provide a Y?
That's what we said in the June meeting, and
But you're
now
saying now
we're-
provide.
now we're gonna
Right.
provide a
But
Y.
So that
for
would
those
help out
three
anyone who
vacant.
develops it, or if they,
Well, if they're subdividing it and building two houses, they're gonna have to tie laterals in separately to our main line. So now we
you need two Ys.
need two Ys.
But Tony, it's like one parcel per Y, or one Y per parcel, but, I mean, people have come to me before.
His son's getting married.
I understand.
They're planning on building their house there. And they're planning on building their house there, and then they proposed, we were talking about, that his son wants to build a house there if they're building,
Right.
you know.
What I suggested, is why don't you tell them to subdivide that property, and then that's on automatic Y, that,
Because it'd be the same as the other one who wanted potential
Rick,
subdivision.
I got a question for you. If you don't subdivide that, and they just decide to put two homes on there and use one lateral, does that go?
no,
No, that's against the
can't do
rules.
that. Well,
I
I'm
guess the
saying,
point
if he subdivided the property, we could provide a Y automatically, cause the property's subdivided.
But that little narrow channel, they'd have to put two Ys and run two laterals down the driveway to that?
Right here,
On that
Yeah,
property
right
you're
there.
talking about?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
that one?
right here, see
right
my
there, she
cursor
got that arrow
moving?
there. That's it, that's their gravity flow to the sewer right there.
Right,
So you're suggesting that they'd have to put two Ys and run two laterals up that driveway to get back there? So they have to run two separate sewers 500 feet down over the hill?
right.
They could extend a main line, probably.
I mean, that would be costly, and they'd have to go
Yeah.
through a sewer line extension, but I'm just saying,
What's,
we don't allow two laterals into one, two properties into one lateral.
now, what's involved in running a sewer line extension up there and just putting a
Oh,
manhole?
it costs us money instead of him.
What if it was a developer who built it?
Yeah,
and
basically, he'd
adopted
be
it?
considered the developer and they'd have to put the line
Well,
in,
if
we
he,
just accepted
he,
that.
he could propose that,
Yeah.
that's why Eric's saying, let him talk to him, yeah.
But Eric, tonight, do you need approval for three
For
Ys?
three Ys and Tom, I think.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is, should I bring it to his attention that this is gonna, you know, I did mention that they're working on a new sewer line down, the whole way down Finley Road. And that's where I ended it, cause I didn't really wanna get in the middle of anything else. When we just went out for a casual dinner thing.
I think we wanna know property owners' intentions. I think,
Okay.
there will be a future workshop meeting where, any other.
So his options are, he could subdivide it now, get two laterals, and he could, at some point in the future, if he wants to subdivide it, put some kind of sewer line extension in there to connect the two homes.
Yeah, or you often see, Jim, back me up here, a driveway, a common shared driveway, and a common easement where they might run both their laterals, and as they're private, we wouldn't, Rick, I think we.
Yeah, that's
we'd
a
be
lot,
okay with
for
that, yeah.
separation of the laterals, that's a lot.
I would get be the better bet.
It all depends on where he's gonna build, Tom, and, when he can subdivide, like Chris, I would suggest he subdivide that, and he can get that done sooner than later, then it would be a Y provided to subdivision. Because, I tell you what, there's a lot of people, and we started different rules, because, like, for example, let's say, I'm gonna tear that house down, sitting there 2 years later, let's go doing that. He's talking about he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he will, but.
But it's no different than the other ones at the top of the hill, that
Right.
at some point may wanna subdivide.
True, yeah, I think he would need